This is W2FJH bringing up the STNY Digital VoiceNet on Parameter Talk Group 31367, Wires X Room 83721, and on Zoom. The primary purpose of the STNY Digital VoiceNet is to help foster an active digital voice community in the southern tier of New York and to provide a forum for those that are interested or have questions regarding various digital voice topics. While this net is primarily for the southern tier, all stations are more than welcome to check in. This net meets weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. Again, the call is Whiskey 2 Foxtrot Julia Hotel, and the name here is Frank. We'll first take a standby for any stations with emergency or priority traffic. Please call now. All right, another heard there. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this net, please give a call sign followed by the word break spoken 2 times. Please leave a 4 to 5 second pause between transmissions for breaking stations or for those who wish to disconnect this talk group. This is a direct net, and the format will follow announcements, questions, and comments. This net utilizes NetLogger, which can be found at netlogger.org. NetLogger is not required, and we will take additional voice check-ins. For more information about this net or join the Zoom meeting, please visit stnydmr.net. That's Sierra Tango November Yankee Delta Mike Romeo.net. You can also find us on 73.net. That's Sierra Echo Victor Echo November numeric number 3.net. This net will prioritize short-time mobile, in-and-out, or emergency power stations, followed by NetLogger check-ins, followed by voice check-ins. We currently do have 2 stations checked in through NetLogger, so the net would like to recognize KC2HSU, who is in and out this evening. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. And KB2SIN Bill. All right, when checking in, please give your call sign, your name, and your location. So let's take a standby for any stations that are short-time, mobile, in-and-out, or emergency power. Please call now.
N2, NRA, Cliff in Waverly, New York.
All right, and we have N2 NRA Cliff in Waverly this evening. I was checking to see if there was any mobile in and out stations there. I'm guessing you wanted to be checked in there, Cliff. So I have you checked in. Let's open up now for any stations that are not mobile in and out emergency power. Any other stations that would like to check in to the STNY Digital VoiceNet this evening? Please call now.
AB2SAN. Name here is Ed in Binghamton, New York.
This is Nancy Echo 2 Whiskey. Over. All right, and then I would like to recognize KB2SIN Bill. I do have you checked in there, Bill. And sorry, N2RWH Ed. I caught the tail end of that. I think you might have doubled with Bill. But I think I have the call sign and everything correct there. You can call back if I do not. And we have NE2W Ed also from Binghamton. Are there any other stations to join this evening? Please call now. All right, another heard there, so we will kick things off. If there's any announcements for the net this evening, please call now. Okay, nothing heard there. If there's any questions for the net this evening, please call now.
This is NE2W with a question.
Yeah, sure. Fire away with your question there, Ed.
Good evening, Frank, and everyone on the net this evening. I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before. Probably the week before. I was trying to check in and had trouble, so I worked on my the hotspot. Got the whatever the app was for that. Worked on the Redidio, whatever was for that, and then at least it got me a chance to learn the settings again after about a year of not using them, and everything was fine. And then I discovered that 3104, the spot we go through to connect to DMR, was having issues. And since then, I've learned by using my Droid Star. I went to a different 3102 or something. Everything worked. Now today it's working 3104. But I've been hearing some chatter that it's having heating problems or some kind of intermittent problems. Have you heard anything about the 3104 over?
Well, good question there, Ed. I have not heard any other information other than that one day it was having problems. We did hold the net that evening, but I was kind of in a scramble myself to figure out like, okay, well, what's going on? We don't have any backups for other DMR networks, so I just happened to try switching the Brandmeister server from 3104 to 3103, and I was able to get on, and things seemed to be working fine. It was honestly, it was a small net that evening. I believe only a few folks checked in with me. I think a lot of the regular folks kind of saw that it wasn't working and kind of passed for the evening. But I haven't heard any detailed information as to the 3104 servers about overheating issues or anything like that. But I will open it up. If anybody else has heard any information about the 3104 Brandmeister server, please call now.
KB2SAN. 3104 was down the other day again. I switched over to 3103 as well, and I've kept it on 3103 now. They're still having the issues with the temperature adjusting, and that's what's throwing the whole thing off. So my suggestion is to stay on at 3104 until they get this problem rectified. KB2SAN.
Hey, very good there, Bill. And yeah, I guess that confirms your what you were saying there, right, about overheating issues. Also, we had talked about in that net, and at some point here, maybe me, you, and Mick can get together and discuss and see if we could also use a different DMR network, such as the TGIF network or DMR Plus. There's another one I can't seem to recall the name of, but I think there's another one in there as well. But just in case there is any, major problems with the Brandmeister network, overall arching Brandmeister problems, that we can still get out, and that's kind of the beauty of DMR, is that there's not just one specific network, there are multiple networks. Brandmeister just happens to be the most popular of them. So hopefully that answered your question, Ed. I'll send it back to you and see if that works.
Yes, thank you, Frank. That helps. I hope they can get it fixed, and thank you, you and Bill, for passing along that information. Back to you, the NE2W.
Hey, no problem at all there, Ed. All right, were there any other questions for the net this evening? Please call now. Okay, nothing heard, so we will move on to comments there. And just so everybody is aware, the net topic this evening, I was seeing if anybody has done any All Star. I know we talked about All Star in the past a little bit, but what are your thoughts if you do any All Star? And just recently, I found 'cause we had talked before about you have to have an All Star node and to have an have an analog radio, communicate with it. I was just looking to listen to All Star, just kind of how you can listen to Brandmeister, just to kind of see what's going on All Star. And I found that you can listen. You can also transmit. For some reason, when I tried to TX, it didn't seem to work quite right. But you can listen at least to All Star using the DV Switch app for Android. I'm not sure if there is an iPhone equivalent, but maybe we'll find out in the net this evening. All right, so first on the list is KB2SIN. Bill, how was your week?
KB2SIN. That was a hectic week, Frank. We ended up picking up a new St. Bernard puppy on Monday, and it's 8 weeks old, and trying to get it crate trained and house trained is like little sleep throughout the night. In fact, the last 3 nights I've been getting up at like 3:20 in the morning to take him out. But other than that, not much going on. Didn't know anything about the All Star Network. Never heard of it. Um, Other than that, not much going on there. So I'll turn it back to net control. KB2SIM.
Hey, very good there, Bill. And yeah, I with when Lillian was first born and being up all night and everything, I tell you, this sleep deprivation is real. When you have to do things in the middle of the night, it just ruins the rest of your day throughout. So I completely understand if you're getting up with a puppy there at night. And yeah, just a quick, just for anybody else who doesn't know, All Star is not a digital voice technology. Technically, in the back end, it is digital voice, but it's more VoIP. A lot of repeaters, well, they're analog repeaters. They're just connected in through All Star, and they transmit out through All Star over the internet. But it is kind of VoIP that they're connected. You don't need a DMR radio, you don't need a Yaesu radio, a D-Star radio. They're all analog repeaters throughout. And you can make your own little node similar to your NMDVM hotspot or other types of hotspots for a DMR. You can also make I think they call it the Sherry Pie is the most popular one. You can make your own Sherry Pie hotspot, and you can get on All Star, and it just takes an analog radio. So I thought I'd bring it up here. I know it's not a digital voice technology, but on the back end it is VoIP. So just seeing if anybody else had any experience with it. So, all right, next on my list is N2NRA. Cliff, how was your week?
This is N2NRA. Yeah, we had a problem with a couple of weeks ago, like Ed was saying, and last week we changed over our internet service with Spectrum because they said our modem Wi-Fi wasn't up to date when they did their updates, so we had to renew. And with the help of my son, we got into the hotspot and got it changed over so this will work. And we'll have to look up more information about All Star. So 32 degrees out, half inch of rain today, and cleared the driveway, so it's not going to be too much ice, and it does get freezing. This is N2NRA, back to net control.
Hey, we're good. Thanks, Rick Cliff. And just by the way, I'll send it back to you really quick. You said, did you change internet from Spectrum? Did you go over to something else? Or did you just upgrade your modem from Spectrum?
They did some upgrades on the system. We were only running about 30 megabytes, and it should have been over 300. And so Spectrum told us that we could either have it mailed or we can go up to Elmira and pick it up at the store, and that's what we had done on the weekend. And to find out, I had to go in and update all the Wi-Fi's on our systems, the printer and all that stuff. So had a lot of fun with that, and so we got the hotspot working again. Back to you. This is N200A.
Okay, very good there, Cliff. Yeah, I thought maybe you had switched from Spectrum over to one of the fiber optic internet service providers. But yeah, I could definitely see having to switch around your Wi-Fi and then having to go to every device on your network and put in new credentials here. That could also be a pain. All right, and also just wanted to mention, because I did check right before I came onto the net here, because I figured someone's going to ask about the snow, and we're up at a little bit higher elevation. I want to say we're at about 1300 if I'm not mistaken. I have to double check that, but yeah, there's about 2.5 inches of snow on my side patio right now. When we came back from church, as we kind of went up the hill, the weather went from just a light rain, and then it started mixing, and then we get up to our house, and it's just all snow. It's been snowing basically since about 10 o'clock this morning. It's been accumulating ever since. So. All right, N2NWH, Ed, you're next on my list there. How was your week?
And to RWH. No, not too bad here. Nothing. I have not done anything with All Star. Still working, getting my feet wet with DMR, but other than that, we're overall not too bad here. So I'll turn it back to you, Frank.
Hey, very good there, Ed. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you're new to DMR, so you already kind of got a lot of learning and everything else ahead of you there with DMR. It is a very steep learning curve, but we appreciate you being here and joining the net. So, all right. Before I get to my next station, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital Voice Net. Let me take another standby for any additional stations that would like to check into the net this evening. Please call now. All right, nothing heard. So continuing to move down the list. Next is NE2W. Ed, how was your week?
Good evening, Frank, and everyone on the net this evening. Good week. Can't complain. The weather was pretty decent until today. We got snow here as well on the north side of Binghamton by Otsego Park. Got about an inch and a half of wet snow. It's not snowing right now. I live on a one-way street, and we have to switch our cars at 5 o'clock park for tomorrow, and some did and some didn't. And the plow can't make it down the street because there's cars on both sides and just won't. The plow's too big to fit through our narrow one-way street. But TV switch, yeah, I had that on my Samsung, my Android phone, and wasn't sure how to set it up. I got some help from Keith, KE8ANE, Kilowatt Echo 8 Alpha November Echo. He set up a network of communication called www.chat.us. It connects different modes together, and like a lot of things with this technology, if you're just starting out, there's a setting or two that nobody tells you about, and I got it pretty much set up and wasn't working in a couple minutes talking to Keith on one of the modes. We straightened it out. But since then, I know you can get a hotspot and all that stuff, but an app came out for the iPhone, which I signed up for. Let me take a break here. As you mentioned, Echolink and All-Star are analog. They're like voice over IP. They're not digital, where it's digitally ones and zeros. It's more of a, they call it analog, those two modes. And this app for the iPhone, it costs a few, I want to say it's like $7 or $8. It's called Repeater Phone, and it does Echolink and All-Star. Now, the Echolink app by itself is free from Echolink, but this app, since it incorporates All-Star, it went ahead and included Echolink because it's just a little bit more software to address the differences. And they use a real good vocoder. The audio quality is exceptionally good. And usually, a lot of times, people will complain, oh, you're on a phone, you don't sound as good. I've never had anybody say anything other than it sounds like I'm sitting right next to them. So with Repeater Phone, I'm able to do All-Star. I usually check into the Tuesday night Absolute TechNet with it. Again, so to summarize, the TV switch on the Android, that works good, but you got to get it set up correctly. And I really like a Repeater Phone on the All-Star, or on the iPhone. Works well. And before with All-Star, you'd have to have a radio, a hotspot with a transmitter and an internet source. Well, you don't need to carry all that around. You've got it right in your iPhone. And what's kind of neat, it hooks into my car's Bluetooth even. I can put it in, and if I'm listening to Echolink, it's not coming out of the phone. It's tied in through the car speakers. So there's what's going on with that. Hope that helps. Back to you, W2FJH and the group from NE2W.
Hey, very good there, Ed. And yeah, I think you're more of an iPhone person, anyways. But if you did, I did get it set up on Android, and it's actually under like the more settings. You have to put enable WT web transmit mode, and then you have to put in your your All-Star username and password into the settings there. But I can help you out with that if you were looking to try it out on Android. But it seems like you're all set using iPhone there. So I was able to listen. Yeah, the audio quality is pretty great. However, I'm just a little confused as to all the nodes that connect, and sometimes I'm wondering if I'm connecting to somebody else's, like an individual person's hotspot that I'm connecting to their node, or if I'm actually connecting to one of the main nodes. It seems like you can connect to or appears you can connect to just about any node there, at least as long as they allow the web transmit on there. But yeah, it's sometimes when you look at the graph, it's a kind of a cluster of different nodes, and they're all connected to different things. It's like, okay, which one am I supposed to connect to? So that was kind of my confusion there as to addressing like what's the difference between these different nodes and which ones I should be connecting to. But all right, I have reached the end of my list, so let's see if there's any additional stations that would like to check into the STNY Digital Voice Net this evening. Please call now. Okay, nothing heard there, so let's give it one more go there. For any additional stations that have any additional stations that would like to check in this evening, or any stations that have checked in with any other comments, questions, or concerns, please call now. right, with nothing heard, then we might as well wrap things up here. So I'd like to thank Chris, Bill, Cliff, Ed1, and Ed2 for joining me this evening. We'll be returning this talk group back to normal amateur radio use. Everybody have a great and safe week there. This is W2FJH, and I'll be listening.